everybody. Today we're going to have a look at the Magnum A-Stan by Böker. In the last review of the N-Lan I did mention how they do appear to be the same design, and I think that this Magnum is actually produced by N-Lan for Böker. So there is going to be a bit of side-by-side comparison of the two knives rather than just a straight review of the Magnum, but then that's kind of the point of this video. So let's get on with it. Okay, so here we have the N-Lan from the previous video and the Magnum. This is how it comes. We'll just move that for the moment. Now, first thing to say is just a reminder that the N-Lan cost £15, but the Magnum A-Stan cost £21, so it's half as much again. But whereas the N-Lan came in this cardboard box, the Magnum inside the slipcase comes in a nice tin. Very well done. So if you're thinking of buying one of these knives as a gift, immediately that's a lot more presentable. Inside the tin we've got a couple of little pieces of literature. First one being just a guarantee card. The second one is a little leaflet which tells you how to remove the thumb stud in case you're not allowed to have a one-handed opening knife where you live, and removing the thumb stud will convert it to a two-handed opener, which could make it legal. Except this knife doesn't have a thumb stud, but we do have the tool. Now, if we get this out, it's a bit of a snug fit. My only real problem with the N-Lan was that the pivot isn't adjustable. So although the blade centering is perfect, it's not an easy knife to flip. I don't think you can really do it just with the finger. You need the wrist action as well, as the actress said to the bishop. So on the N-Lan, on the Magnum, we do have an adjustable pivot. So straight away, although it's half as expensive again as the N-Lan, the Magnum does have two big advantages: the presentation in the tin and the adjustable pivot. Now, we'll just put them quickly together. Two reasons why I think these are both made by the same company. One is clearly the design is the same. The materials are different, but the design and the construction is the same. Also, the model numbers. The N-Lan is the N-Lan EL01, and the model number for the Magnum A-Stan is 01EL001. So they do seem to be related. Now, what do we have with the Magnum? G10 scales, titanium coated blade and handle parts. The blade here is 440C with a coating. Now, the physical dimensions are of course the same as the N-Lan. The close length, and therefore the handle, is 4 3/4 of an inch, 120 millimeters, and the blade from the base of the handle to the tip in a straight line is 110 millimeters, or Is that right? 110mm, 4 inches. I'll just check that. No, beg your pardon, 100mm, 4 inches. The weight though might be different because of the different materials. So if we quickly grab the Enlan, now can you see those numbers on the camera? Yeah. The Enlan is just under 5¼ ounces, and that's with wooden handle scales and an 8CR13 MOV blade. The Magnum with the G10 scales and the 440C blade is slightly heavier, 5½ ounces. That's already a heavy knife for the Enlan, and just goes up a little bit for the Magnum. In the picture that caught my attention, the colour of the handle scales does look quite pale, quite bright in fact. Whereas when I got the knife, the G10, although it's a sand colour, is quite dull. And it's weird because when I took some photographs of this to show you at the end of the video, on my photographs it comes out looking quite bright, whereas in reality it's a bit subdued. Now back to the other difference we've got from the Enlan is the adjustable pivot. The blade centering on this when it arrived was perfect, but it wouldn't flip without a flick of the wrist. So I have adjusted the pivot, and the little tool you get, the short end, I think, yeah, the short end fits the pivot and the long end fits the handle screws. Now we've got the same washer construction, one large nylon washer and one smaller diameter metal washer. I hope you can see the nylon washer there. I've loosened off the pivot and the blade centering has suffered. It's come across to the adjusting side quite a bit. Not enough to rub on the liner, but enough that you can flip it a lot more easily. Being the same construction as the Enlan, the lockup is just as good, no blade play in any direction. The G10 is very grippy, and after handling the Enlan I would say it feels rough, but that's just G10. There isn't a great deal more to say about this, having already looked at the Enlan. The size comparison I did, I showed you the Tenacious, and I was thinking after I did the video it would be more sensible to pick a knife that's much more in the same style. So we've got this CRKT Jim Hammond Desert Cruiser. So anybody who's familiar with this knife, what I like here is overall it's a bit smaller. And we're back. Now, yes, so it's slightly smaller overall than the CRKT, but we've got a slightly chunkier blade and the handle's probably maybe as much as ½ an inch shorter. So I think the proportion is a lot better. But the point being that this is the sort of size and style of knife to compare it to. So would I recommend it? Well, you certainly get your money's worth for £21. The tin is very nice if you're thinking of buying it as a gift, and the adjustable pivot is a big plus. But for me personally, I just prefer the style of the Enlan with the bare steel and the wooden handle scales. So, very good knife, very good price, but I'm going to give it away. I noticed the other day that my view count is getting up towards 100,000. I think it was about 97.5. And that's a lot for me. That really is quite amazing. So I think when we hit 100,000, I'll do a giveaway. This will be one prize, and there'll be some other stuff as well that I haven't decided what that is yet. So if you're interested, you might want to have a look at these still pictures, get a closer look. Thanks for watching.